Hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can hear me, you can say, hey, I can hear you in chat. If I sound like strange or maybe I'm really too loud, let me know. You can chat with me here. You can also just chat anytime with comments on Facebook, or if you're on Twitch, you have to log in. And yeah, you can just chat and hang out. But today we're doing some holiday fun with 3D printing. Originally, this was going to be laser etching on glass, but due to some circumstances, we won't be able to do that. So we're going to show some fun 3D printing instead. I actually have a 3D printer over a little bit. So here's our little 3D printer right over here. Let me just transition. There we go. And like it's all set up and ready to go, but I'm going to go over how to reserve equipment here at DoSpace. And then I'm going to show you how to like kind of demo you can make something real quick and then start 3D printing. Reserving equipment here is pretty much the same process with all of the things. So you can apply some things you learned from here a little bit to laser cutting, not a whole lot, but quite a bit. But again, you could totally like hang out, chill, see some cool 3D printing stuff. You can also, just say hi and chat. I'm very open to being like interactive with you guys. If you got something you want to like custom 3D print, let me know. Of course, I'm going to ask you guys to do all the work there. Like, I'm not going to build something for you. You have to send something. You need to let me know. I can probably, maybe better for me to search for it. So I'm Ruth. And first I'm going to go over is reservations. So if you're wondering how to reserve equipment, or you're just always been, maybe a little bit too afraid to do so because you're just like, I have no idea what I'm doing and I can't get mental help right now due to the pandemic. Well, this webinar is, stream, is perfect for that. So when you go to DoSpace.org, you'll get to our main website right here. And at the top, there's like this little bar, and it says technology. At the end, the DoSpace logo is kind of blocking it a little bit. It's right next to search over here. But if you click on technology here, you get this use technology thing. And then, let me see here. I'm going to circle some things. There we go. So you'll see about like right over here, there's this bar, and then exactly right here, it says reserve equipment. So if I click reserve equipment right there, it takes me here, scrolling down, and here is where you can book the equipment. A lot of people have been booking Glowforge Pro right now, and also the Universal Laser Cutter, but we also have a Taz Pro. The 3D printer that I'm using for this stream here is not the same one on this. Things are going to be a little bit different, but still the same principles. So if you want to book something here, just click book equipment. Right now, only one person can be in the 3D lab at a time, so technically you can use all the equipment when you use the 3D lab, but I highly suggest if you've never done it before, using one for your first time, and then later learning the others, and then maybe you can like make this production line going on where you're like 3D printing a part and laser cutting another part. Anyways, yeah, when you click the equipment you want to choose, you can choose a date on the calendar here. It looks like, yeah, a lot of people have this reserved. Might not be able to find free time. Oh, January's not available. Hopefully January will be available soon when we get to that month. But you got to find a green spot in here. It's by the hour. You can like reserve a max of 8 hours. I might not be correct on that. Could be back to 4. But you're ready to go in here. You can just click on a section in here, and then it tells you it's the whole 3D lab. You continue, and you got to fill out this information, and then it's reserved. When you get here at DoSpace, you'll have to like say, hey, I got a reservation at the information desk, and they'll take you to tech desk. You need to come in with your photo ID and DoSpace card. And so you have a reservation. If you haven't signed a borrower's agreement waiver yet, you sign it there. You have to be 18 years or older to do so. If you're below the age of 18, you can always bring a grown-up with you with their photo ID, and they have to have their own DoSpace account, and they can sign that for you. And then you and a grown-up or whoever can go to 3D Lab, and you have to use the equipment yourself. Right now, there's no help that we can offer besides a book that we like instruction booklets that we have from the 3D Lab. This is kind of why I'm showing this webinar right here, so you guys get a chance to learn how to use the equipment without it being totally lost when you reserve the 3D Lab yourself. Okay, so there's that bit right there. Again, we got like a laser cutter, Google Forge. You guys can like look up some videos on our DoSpace YouTube page we have about with laser cutting and such. Hopefully in the future we can do another class of that. Okay, so now on to 3D printing. So I already have a made product here. Close that. Let me hold it up close, hopefully it focuses. It's backwards, but it says DoSpace. To me, it's not backwards. There we go. It says a DoSpace, it's a keychain. Right here, this is something you can 3D print on your own. You can also make one. Here's one of our examples. It's an astronaut with one of our higher tech 3D printers. It's like, got like really detailed hands. Kind of hard to see with the white. And then this is like a little vase, and it's hollow on the inside, and it's got like all these bumps all over. So let's say you reserved the 3D printer here at DoSpace. The one we have here is dual nozzle. That means you can do 2 different colors. The one I'm using is only a single nozzle, so it's only going to be one color. But when you get here, you like reserve it, you're in the 3D Lab, and you're ready to get going. Well, the first thing you gotta do is find a 3D model or make one yourself. So I'm gonna first show you about finding one your own. So in here, if you go to thingiverse.com, let's you write that out. So it's like thingiverse.com. This is a place where like a lot of people go to find free 3D models that you don't have to pay for. You can download them. They're in a file format of .stl or .obj. The file format we need here at DoSpace is .stl. You can do obj, but we always recommend .stl for the file format there. So yeah, once you get here, you can just click on these files. I really like this Vulpix here from Pokemon, but the thing is our 3D printers can't do that many different colors, so I have to ignore that one. But I'm still going to click on it anyways because I find it interesting. And you can get a little preview of what it will look like with single color and what it will look like with all these different colors. And if you scroll down a little bit more, you get some information of how like they put it together. Sometimes it's just information. Here, this person's trying to sell extra files here, saying, hey, if you give me money, you can get these files too. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna go to this creepy Yoda toothpaste dispenser. It looks like it's hand painted, but if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see this license. You always want to look for commercial, Creative Commons, actually, that's what it is, Creative Commons, right here. They're almost all Thingiverse ones are supposed to have that. And then it's available for you to, like, you know, do whatever you want. But yeah, here's this file here. It looks like this is hand painted. But if I go over a little bit, I see other files. Oh, wow. It's a little customized files. I'm going to keep going here. Like, some people provide a lot of photos here. I'm trying to find... Guess I didn't bother here. It's not showing me the pictures that I want to see, but if I scroll down a little bit more, sometimes people are nice enough to share their print settings here and other information about how they got their result. and like the process of how they built it and stuff, if you know they want to do that, or they could just leave the whole thing blank. Now I'm gonna go over here. Here's little popular keychains of Among Us. So I scroll down, again, not that much information, so I'm like, eh. The one I'm really interested in here is this little anti-fog strip that you can put inside your mask to prevent your glasses from fogging up. And you can scroll down, you can see how the file is formed and some information of how you can get the same result they did, because you know everyone has different 3D printers and such. But if I go down a little bit more, I can see what brand they use for printer, if they use RAF, supports, resolution. I'll be going over that a little bit later. I'm going to be following this information here. And if I want the file, there's this little thing. Let me see if I can circle it. Right, nope, right here. There it is. Where it says Thing Files. So I click on that. There we go. Let's scroll down a little bit more. There it is. Right there, it says Thing Files right here. And I can download what I want. So I'm going to click download. And it goes down. Sometimes when you look at different type of files, let me find another. This cool little screw. If I go to Thing Files, sometimes, oh, this is all STL. Sometimes they have different file types, like OBJ, or there's one that starts with a G, I forgot what it is, but make sure you're choosing .stl if you want to 3D print at DSpace. Once you get this file here, you can take that file and place it on a flash drive, bring it over here, or email it to yourself, and go over here, log into Gmail, and download it to the computer here. You're going to be using one of our computers to 3D print, unless, you know, to hook up your own laptop, but for, you know, making it easier for everyone, you'll be using one of our computers here that's hooked up to our 3D printer. And you can also just go to thingiverse.com on the computer too and just download the file you want. So I get this file here. Now, I'm going to show you the example of making your own. Now, I'm just using a website called Tinkercad. It's spelled Tinkercad. Tinkercad.com. In here, you can see some of my examples here. Here, it's like an online 3D modeler program where you can build your own 3D models and customize stuff you want. You can also import your own things here and customize them. So I'm gonna grab something here real quick. I'm gonna find, let's see, does this ornament here? I saw some ornaments. Let's say I want to add my name on one of these ornaments. I'm gonna go with Thing Files. Wow, this person has 3,000 Thing Files. I'm gonna back away from that one. I just thought about customizing the ornament now. Of course. Okay, here's this one. Please let me have the ability to customize. Christmas name ornament. There you go. One for Emma. I'm gonna just delete the space. So I'm going to download this one. Here we go. Now I'm going back to Tinkercad. So I've already done other videos about designing these. Let me clear the screen. So you can always like go to DSpace YouTube and search like 3D design or Tinkercad. The videos, you can always like find those. I'm not going to go too much into designing things in here. If you want to learn, like, you can use other programs too. If you're familiar with Blender, AutoCAD, Maya, there's like a lot of other 3D programs. You can like grab files of those. You can export it as .stl or .obj. Highly recommend STL because it's the one we recommend here for the file type. If you don't know what the file type is, if you look at the file, right-click, Properties, will have a .stl at the end, right here. Okay, so I'm going to create a new design, and I'm just going to import the file and customize it. So import, choose file. It's going to go right into my downloads, open. Let's see. I'm going to go with the size it is. Hopefully it's in millimeters and not inches. It's importing, it's thinking. There we go. Okay. So it says M on here. That's not my name. I'm going to change it. So I'm just going to grab this cube here that cuts things out for me. And yep, that's where I want it. Again, I highly recommend you checking out DoSpace YouTube page and find a video about using Tinkercad. There's actually a video of me showing you how to use Tinkercad. You can also just look at just YouTube videos in general for how to use Tinkercad. I just placed this little cube right here, and if I group them, nope, I didn't do it. Undo. See. Yes, group. And there we go. So it just took a bit. I guess because it is a more detailed file. Now I just need to get rid of this part right here. I'm gonna do that with another cube. The reason why I didn't size like it a little bit bigger is because I didn't want to cut off the snowflake a little bit. And of course, it's a little bit late because, you know, Christmas just passed. So maybe you can do like a New Year's related thing in Tinkercad if you wanted. And such. I'm just going with this because that's the files that was more common or more popular on Thingiverse. I'm just going to group these two. And there we go. Now, I'm going to grab text, bring it out. I don't have the option to do very fancy letters here. Yeah, I'm going to go sans. Just going to write do space. And of course, bring the height way down. Bring the size way down too. Ooh, it flipped. Yeah. And then here's comes the part where I'm trying to center it. Making sure it's the same height. There you go. And I'm gonna bring it down a little bit more. That's too much. There we go. On top. And make it a little bit smooth. Zoom in. No, actually, I don't want it smooth. Sorry, I just changed my mind there. Okay. And there we go. That's slightly in. Zooming in here, making sure it's the same height. And then I'm just going to group it. There we go. Now it says DoSpace instead of Emma. Okay, so I'm just going to select this whole model and then export at the upper right. And I'm going to grab STL because that's the file type I need. There we go. So I just made my own custom file with a free file off of Thingiverse. Okay, so now we're going to get into some 3D printing here. So this program right here, it's XYZ, where at DoSpace you're going to be using a program called Cura. This is not a 3D modeling program. This is just a printing program where you'll place the object in this bed here. This is just showing the space of where you can 3D print here. It is 6 inches wide and 6 inches long. So that's each of these bigger squares right here. So with the 3D printer I'm showing off, it is much smaller space. It's called a DaVinci Mini Maker. The one in Dining Reserve 3D Lab is a 12 by 12 inch space, and I think it goes 10 inches high for like printing height wise in there. So you got a little bit more space to work with than the one I'm showing off here. So first thing I want to show you guys here before I start going to program is with these 3D prints right here. They are made with a material called filament. It's kind of like recycled plastic. Not all the time, but sometimes they're made from recycled plastics. And they come in like different colors you can choose from. You can't just choose a color in the 3D program itself and it prints in that color. That would be so nice if we could just do that. but you have to choose your own colors. If you're looking to buy your own colors, again, right now I can't really do that. But if you have your own, like you know someone with a 3D printer and you want to like borrow theirs and print your own thing, you can actually get 3D filament from Amazon. There's not too many places that sell filament. Like it's hard to find locally, but this is one of the websites to find a variety, like a very wide variety of colors. The filament, there's different filament types. There's ABS, PLA, and so on. It's very important to note the type because they melt at different temperatures. The ones that we're using for this, I believe, is PLA. I might be wrong. It's usually between PLA and ABS at DSpace. Luckily, they like melt at the same, like really close temperatures. So I don't have to worry about that too much. I just have to worry if PLA gets too stringy and can clog the 3D printer. So now back to this program here. So with Cura, the one I mentioned earlier, here at DSpace Omaha is the program we use with our TAS, dual nozzle TAS. It's very similar to this right here. This is just the kid version program. I like to say it's not as customizable, but still kind of the same ideas. Where you got this little space, you can place 3D models in here and then print. Up here, it's saying my 3D printer is ready. I'm gonna be getting up and going right over here. That's why I have like a weird mic going on, so you'll see me leave from the camera right here. And over there. So over here, hopefully you guys can see my hand. There we go. Over here, I already have the filament loaded. The filament looks like this, it's on a wall. I'm gonna be using pink here. And I have to actually, with the 3D printer, I have to string it through and have like an auto load. Hopefully I'm not too loud with moving things. There we go. There's like this little plastic tube on top here, and then I have to load it through this little grabber right here. I take this off. There's a little bit more detail. There's something similar like this on the TAS, where you actually have to manually feed through the tube. And to do that, is that you just put the little filament on a little holder, and then there's like a tube, like a little entry right here. And you grab the filament and just like push it through. And you'll like watch it go through this tube right here. There we go. So, like I said before, this one actually can manually fill itself through the software on the computer. So this is the whole 3D printer here. This right here is the bed. It's a little bit off camera right now, so I'll push it back a little bit. There we go. This is the bed. It moves back and forth. The 3D printer does that. It actually has tape on it right now. And the reason why for that is because this bed does not heat. The 3D printer in our 3D lab does heat the bed. So you don't have to put tape on that, but I put tape on this one here because the 3D prints can get stuck on this plate. So we put tape down and then we glue it. I was like put some stick glue down to make it easier to remove. Another thing here, it's kind of hard to see, but there's like this nozzle right here. Maybe I can like move them closer if I can. Hopefully I don't make you guys sick. I really hope I don't make you guys sick of moving this. There we go. Try to keep it steady as possible. But there we go. There is the nozzle. It's got like this little tip right here. When you're 3D printing, this heats up. Basically, 3D printers are glorified glue guns that like manually form things for you. Form is not really the right term, like lay down glue for you, basically. And these get really hot. A lot of times in our kids' programs, kids end up burning themselves with 3D doodlers and 3D printing objects. So be very careful about touching this because this can get to up to like 300 Celsius is the max. And that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So how this works is that this thing moves back and forth and up and down on the bed right here in circles to form this 3D print. So it goes from flat to bottom, raising itself up slowly to make the object. Nothing here. This is a button that basically starts and stops the 3D print whenever we need to. And then, of course, we got to plug stuff in to connect to power into the computer. Now I'm going to set this back on my tripod so you guys will get a view of the 3D printing layer. When I get to that, please make sure it doesn't slip on me. There we go. So I'm just going to put some glue down because I'm going to be 3D printing. Just right there in the middle. Another thing is when we ever do open again, our little 3D printers are eventually to come with little instruction manuals in case you can forget anything. Same thing with the tabs in our 3D lab. Okay, now I'm back over here. So I'm going to go back to the software here. Again, if you want to talk and chat and comments or make any, give you feedback or say anything interesting, you can in the Twitch chat box or in Facebook comments. I'm always here to chat. Yeah, so I'm going to 3D print here, add an object in here. To do that, go to the top of the screen as import. I can also drag the file in Cura. I should show a picture of what Cura looks like. Cura. Images. This is Cura, except for ours is green. It's like a green overlay. I'm gonna look Taz Cura. Taz is the product. There it is the 3D printer brand that we use. It's green, but it's kind of the same stuff, just things look different. So same thing with XYZ where I'm using here. You just drag the file in. The reason why I'm not using Cura is because our 3D printer wants us to use its software from its manufacturing company, and that's XYZ. So I have to deal with that. Okay. So I'm just going to click the import button at the top here. I think, did I export the file? I don't think I exported it yet. I forgot to do that. I'm going to go over here. There it is. Export. Its name. Oh, okay. Yeah, I already did. I have it done. Tinkercad gives everything strange names, but I'm just going to open file, grab it, enter it. There it is. There is my 3D model. My little ornament says do space right here. And I can move around the space by, I highly recommend using a mouse when using 3D printer software and 3D modeling software. Because if I hold my little middle mouse button, I can scroll around, like move the object around easily, scroll in and out to zoom in and out, right click to rotate around, left click to move the object around. And I'm trying to get this in the center here. And I'm actually going to make it smaller just for sake of time because this 3D printer is a lot slower than the 3D printers in the lab. When you are 3D printing stuff and you have no idea what you're doing, give yourself 2 hours, at least 2 hours to 3D print if you're 3D printing something small. If you're 3D printing something large, give yourself like 4 hours, maybe perhaps 8 if you're able to get 8 hours somehow. But you don't want to do prints that are more than 8 hours because you won't be near your 3D printer at all and things can go wrong. Unless you have your own 3D printer, and then of course you do that. I know someone who 3D prints for like 2-3 days straight. What were they printing? I think they were printing a Mandalorian mask is what they're doing. So yeah, like 3D printers take forever. It's kind of a thing where you just kind of do other things while 3D prints. Yeah, so I'm gonna change size. Just like in Cura, there's 3 things in other 3D modeling programs. You can move your object, you can rotate your object, and you can change the scale, which is size. So in this program here, I'm gonna use this little tool right here. It's got like a small box going into a larger box. Click on that, and I can change the size in here. I'm gonna keep it uniform, but you can always like uncheck uniform or not. And yeah, I'm gonna bring the size down. You're gonna try to get it about 2 inches. I can do that by looking at the square in here. I would say that's about right. And then zoom in. It's gonna be pretty flat, so I'm all right with that. There's the Z, so it's not even like 10 millimeters for height. So you also have like a little converter right here. Right now, this is in millimeters at the bottom. You can switch to inches or millimeters. In Cura, you have to set your height before you do anything else, but I could be wrong. I actually haven't used Cura in a while. But yeah, perhaps hopefully it's about the same as it was. Okay. Oh yeah, another thing is that you can snap to landing. If you ever want to try that, I'm going to cancel that. If you want to like try to get the object to like have different sides of it to touch the ground. Because if I have this, let's see, if I can get it up a little. Yeah, if I have this object above like this, the 3D printer is going to 3D print up here, and all the filament's going to fall down and not make this beautiful shape that we want. There we go. Okay, so I got that. I'm going over dashboard here, and there's a little thing right here for filament. You can click load right here, and it asks you, hey, make sure it's warm, it heats up, and you click start. This whole thing starts warming up right here in Celsius. The TAS has a similar thing. It's got like a little little display, digital display on the machine itself. And what you do is you go to like filament, and you just like push the button for PLA, and it warms itself. That's how you can get the filament through the nozzle, because it's not going to go through the nozzle unless it's warm. Again, this is just a glorified glue gun. You gotta have the glue warm for it to come through. So there's that. It's kind of like getting ready. I'm just letting it warm up a little bit here. I already have the filament in the machine already, so I don't have to fulfill this, but I'm just going to let it go through so you guys can see what's going on. And of course, there's a warning right here saying, don't touch the nozzle, it's hot. Okay. So when I have a 3D model in here, it's going to ask me to prepare and slice. What that means is that it's taking the 3D model and turning it into like a bunch of piece of papers or layers that stack on top of each other, because 3D printers print in layers. It's going to be hard to show on camera, but there's like thousands of little teeny tiny lines through this, and that's the different layers. So 3D printer starts at the bottom and it builds its way up. So preparing and slicing it is just making a bunch of layers through it. So it tells the machine how many layers it is and what directions do you go in to print for this or that. Okay, now I'm going over here. I'm going to show you over here. There's the nozzle coming down. That just thing does where it's like trying to figure out its location on the board right here. TAS does the exact same thing. It's coming back up. And I'm just waiting, I'm just showing this on camera. You might not be able to see it, but when you see the filament, you can see the filament's rotating on the side right here. When you see the filament coming out of the nozzle, you know it's warm and ready to print. If you don't see any filament coming out of the nozzle, it's not ready. There it is. It's kind of hard to see, but it's this pink plastic line that's coming out right now. And then I have to click finish on the program to get it to stop doing that. It takes a bit for it to go over. And tell the machine, hey, stop doing that. I have to wait for the load. There we go. Now I'm going to prepare my 3D model. It's preparing. Slice and plate. There we go. You can zoom in here. And you'll see red is shell, yellow is infill. Yellow is just the stuff between the walls. That is just to make our 3D print more like durable. So if you're using like you're printing like a tool type thing or thing to hold others, you want infill. No, I don't need infill. I'm just gonna remove the infill, go back and redo that. And then this blue part here supports. This object doesn't really need anything because it's relatively flat. But let's say this keychain shown on camera here. If I print this like straight up like this is gonna fall over in the middle of the print. So I'll need like some type of extra filament to hold it in place. So supports is just like extra filament that like hooks itself on the 3D print, and it's easy to break off. Like when you like it's done with supports, it's like all these little beams holding up, and you just break them off to get that on there. And that's just a test filament there, but yeah, there it is. Now, if you look all the way on the left here, there's this like thing that says time. Oh, right there. And it says 23 minutes and 41 seconds. I always add 5 to 10 more minutes to the time it shows because I know it's a lie. Like it usually takes longer than it says it does. I'm like, nope. So the marker is stuck on there. Oh, there we go. So there's that. Now, you could be thinking, how do I make this faster? Oh, before I do that, I forgot. I'm going to show you the layers here. So on the settings here, this is just layer display. It's still got infills. If I check this and check this. If I go through here, it shows me each layer. It's just 6 layers of filament to make this object here. And it shows me what it does as it goes through, as it digs through the layers. There we go. So I'm actually going to go back right here because I'm going to change some settings here. So these type of settings you'll see in Cura too, on the left side here. I'm going to change some things. Let's see, I don't need any infill at all. Infill type is just the way it fills on the inside. Rectangular means it makes a bunch of little squares for the inside. For an object like this one right here, for the astronaut, it's solid. So it has, for the infill type, instead of wasting a bunch of filament, making it completely solid, you can change how it fills in the inside. Like you can make little mini hexagons on the inside to make it durable, but not use too much filament. I don't need, no, shell's important. Shell is important there. That's just for the outer layer here. This is just all shell, technically. So I need to keep that normal. Height is just the thickness of each line. You saw that little layers thing I showed you. That's just the thickness of the layer, so it's 0.3 millimeters. The first one is usually thicker than the rest. I'm okay with that. Speed, I'm gonna go fast. The problem with going fast, the lower quality it is, the more likely it's gonna mess up. The faster it is, the slower it is, the better, the more chances where it won't mess up. So if I do anything that's really intricate, I would say this is more intricate. If I do something like this, if they do this fast, it's gonna mess up. It's just gonna like fall over in the middle of it and not turn out well, and I wasted a bunch of filament. Now I would do slow. Temperature here doesn't matter at all. This is just for the temperature for the bed. Like, I can't really, I don't have a 3D printer that heats up here, so this XYZ Rare can be used with other 3D printers. Retract speed is just the speed of the filament. Retracts from the head, the nozzle, and detail threshold, if you want to make things more detailed or not detailed at all. If you hover over these, it tells you what it is. On Cura, it doesn't as much, but a lot of these things here are the same settings you'll see in Cura. Back here. And then supports, I don't need support, so I'm not going to enable any of these at all because I don't need them for this. The more complex your object is, the more likely you need those extra settings. Okay, and profile to PLA, so I'm good there. Print type, this right here is just changing the settings for you automatically instead of going through here. And again, if you're 3D printing the whole first time, you don't have to go through this information. I'm just doing this to make it faster. So now I'm going to click prepare. It's preparing. There it is. I went from 23 minutes to 18 minutes. Still a long time. So you guys are not going to probably see the end of this print. I'm going to get started here. So I'm going to print. It's loading over. And now I'm going to switch over to my camera view so you can see. It's getting ready. So first it's going to warm up. First it's finding itself where it is on the board. The computer doesn't see, it doesn't have eyes right here to see where it is at all. So it's like trying to figure out where it is first, to set that as a point, reference point, to where to place everything. So it's right there warming up. Here, this is just what you see for the rest of the time on the program. It's warming up. So while it's warming up, I'm going to go over here on dashboard. On Kira, it's going to be the same thing. It has like a little, it's going to be like the bottom left, right, instead of the upper left. Right here, it says DaVinci Mini Maker. But right here, it has like the settings where it's like thinking, we're just doing it. It tells you, it's like a progress bar is what it has right over here. So as soon as it starts printing, I can pause it or stop it anytime I want through the software on this thing right here. And it tells me what it's doing right over here anytime. So I'm going to go back to here. So there it is. So first thing it's doing the first test filament. So it like prints a line out. And that's for your way to say, hey, it's ready to print if that little line comes out. I forgot to remove that extra filament. So I'm like, what, seeing the little pink stuff like coming out right there? Yeah, so it's 3D printing. I'm just going to show this for a little bit, and I'm going to kind of show you what you do at the end. But you won't be seeing it. I'm going to try to show. And maybe for the rest of the time, I'll just have it print after I'm done with everything, just to be on there. But this stream will still end at 3 p.m. But I'm going to go over all the stuff, information again. Okay. There it is. So now it is 3D printing in the middle. It's kind of laid out. I'm probably going to zoom in on the camera later to show you what's going on. Okay. So let's say you're done with 3D print. It's all good. Right here on the progress bar where it says printing, it would say done. What you do is you'll grab, you could try to pull it off with your bare hand. I'm going to go over back to the camera here. There is a scrapple, scraper, right in the bottom, left over here that we got. We don't really provide one much with DSpace here because sometimes people can scratch the plate, and those plates are expensive to replace. So we usually don't provide these except for these plasticky ones sometimes, unless that's changed. Probably. Yeah. Sometimes there is a scraper. Yeah, I don't know. You can always ask Tech Help Desk for those to remove the 3D object off of the plate. But yeah, after you got that here, what you need to do next after that is unload filament, because if you leave filament in the nozzle, the next person comes in, it could the filament can get really old or clog or just cause problems with the 3D printer. So when you're done with your 3D print, you need to warm up the nozzle, and it'll be the same thing before, where you click on for the 3D printer DaVinci, you click on filament here and then click unload. You'll see that same thing again you saw earlier where it's heating up and then it pulls itself out. For the TAS, you'll manually grab the filament. First, you heat up the nozzle through the little menu, and then once it's warm, and you click retract, and it pulls itself out. I wish I could show you, up close, but I can't. But basically, make sure you unload the filament. You heat up the nozzle. You click after it reaches its temperature. You click retract, and you wanna it undoes itself, it pushes the filament out only a little bit. And then you'll pull the rest of it out with your hands through that tube. Right now, since we still have a bunch of restrictions, you don't have to worry about reloading filament because we just have the filament loaded all the time right now in the Paz. The only colors we got connected there is black and white. Always in there, so you don't have to worry about that much. But once we're done, hopefully soon with this pandemic, you will have to load and unload the filament yourself. Fun thing, we just released a Beanstack program here. We can earn badges, and hopefully when the pandemic's over, we're going to have the badge for learning how to unload and reload the 3D printers. It's a thing. Okay. So now there's that. I showed you little in-bits again with like what it turns out for the products. This is, it's kind of hard to see, this is 2Space right here. So I'm just going to zoom in on the camera here. But that's about it for all the things I have to show you today. So if you got any questions, you can always ask questions in the stream. I'll be here to answer them. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. I'm just going to zoom in on the camera and we're good to go. Thank you very much for coming in to watch this little holiday themed 3D printing stream. I'm printing an ornament, even though it's past Christmas. Tonight we were going to do a 3D printing management class, but it got canceled. And then tomorrow, Reed, what do we have tomorrow?
Tobiah is doing something, and then Morgan is teaching JavaScript basics.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow night we have a JavaScript basics class, and then at 2 p.m. we have another holiday themed STEAM type class. Robot says, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hey, yeah, I'm just going to have this 3D print go until 3 p.m. and then I'll end the stream. But I'll be going. Hey, thank you very much, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Fate wants them, for all time's sake.
Just
Leave him alone, Miss Elsa. You bad luck tonight.